Where are you based?
I am based in Mumbai.
Okay. Live on Facebook.
I'm just doing the Facebook Live. I'm just adding that. And once it is through, we'll be live on SBI Foundation page as well. Okay, so we are live now. Shall we begin? Good evening, Mr. Joseph. How are you doing? Mr. Nixon Joseph.
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I welcome you on behalf of International Institute for Corporate Sustainability and Responsibility.
Thank you.
We are a dedicated institution to people on CSR and sustainability. And thank you everyone for joining in this session. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Nixon Joseph. He has been a banker throughout his life, and he has recently been he has recently joined SBI Foundation as a CEO and the president. He has worked across the globe. He's worked in Tokyo, in India, and many other locations with SBI Foundation. And he is one of the best known marathoner in SBI whole company, and very well renowned person to run. In fact, lately he also completed a lot of rounds in his house during the lockdown, because of which he got awarded. Mr. Nixon, welcome. So welcome to you from on behalf of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity to be here. It's a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We would like to quickly learn what has been your experience. You have spent your lifetime with SBI. What has been your experience with them?
No, it has been a wonderful experience being with SBI. It provides a lot of opportunities to learn. Like, I am from Cochin, and initially I was posted to Northeast Circle, comprising the 7 states of Northeast. So I was in Mizoram. I was like, we get exposed to various cultures. We get to see so many places. We get to learn various facets of banking. And I should tell you that whatever I have become is because of SBI. It molds you into a leader. It molds you into a very caring person. It molds you into a socially responsible person. And when I look back, I feel it was a good decision I took to join SBI.
You have worked on both the sides of SBI, in the banking sector as well as in the foundation. What has been, what was the travel, how was the journey? And plus you worked in India and abroad. So how is the banking system different over there and here?
See, working in the bank means bank is a commercial bank. So whatever we do is we decide based on the profit or returns to the bank. Though bank is doing a lot of priority sector activities also. Whereas in the foundation, you are immediately able to help people and bring change in the life pattern of the people. Mm-hmm. You are able to bring a lot of changes immediately or directly when you are in the foundation. Also, in the foundation, you come to meet a lot of development sector leaders, many who have sacrificed their life for the society. We come to know about a lot of good things happening in the society because of the initiatives taken by individuals. So in that way,
So,
yes. Yes, continue.
no, so you were saying something.
No, in that way, SBI Foundation and SBI, like priorities are different. Though the vision is same. SBI is also the banker to every citizen in India, banker to every Indian, and is trying to have schemes to realize the dreams of every Indian. In SBI Foundation, we are trying to bring positive change in the lives of people, in the lives of the marginalized and the vulnerable. We are trying to have create an inclusive paradigm by the activities of SBI Foundation. So that is the difference which I find.
Excellent.
And when
So,
you ask
from
me
a
about my
banker,
experience in, yes, when you ask me about my experience in Tokyo and working in India, each has its own advantages. Each has its own plus and minus. In India, SBI is the largest bank. Whereas when you go to Japan, we are not a very significant player in the banking system in Japan. We have large banks like Bank of Tokyo, Mitsubishi, Sumitomo Bank and all, which are like huge banks in by way of business or by way of funds which they are having, by way of capital which they are having, etc. But other one thing is that we get an exposure to learn new facets of banking while we are in Japan, like syndication loans. All these are something new for me when I went to Japan. Also, lending based on the cash flows. Whereas here we may depend to some extent on the collaterals. There it is based on the cash flows. Then the culture, it's a working culture itself is different. In Japanese, as you know, consider work as a worship, and they're very punctual in their activities. If we ask them to do some work by some date, there is no need to remind them. They'll be ready by that day itself. They're very punctual, not even 1 minute late. And it is, I could find within the office also, they never use the mobile for speaking and all. If at all they receive any phone call, they go outside the branch and attend to the call. Otherwise, it's all texting only. So in that way, and I find that from morning to evening, they're fully engaged with the work. So that is something like a cultural difference which I could find there.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So from banker, then in foundation, and you have been known as I am a marathoner to SBI marathon legend. You have been an inspiration to thousands inside and outside the bank. How this change was possible?
See, till the age of 45, I was not into any fitness activities or running, etc. Only at that time, I was just thinking when I was working in Mumbai head office of SBI, that life is much more than going to office, coming back, etc. We should do something different which would provide inspiration to others. And you can inspire others only if you do things differently. So I was just thinking what to do differently with other bankers don't do. SBI is having 270,000 employees. And I was thinking, what is the thing which others don't do, which I can do? And then only it struck upon me that in SBI, no one does long distance running, or maybe even 5 kilometers running. At that time, I thought no one around me was doing it. So I thought, why don't do long distance running? And without any much experience, didn't run even 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers before that. I registered for the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon in 2006 for 42 kilometers because I thought if I complete, I should do something great which will inspire others. And then my first marathon, it took me 7 hours, 30 minutes to complete because that was my first marathon run of 42 kilometers. And that gave me a lot of lessons. I improved on the timings. I registered for the marathons every year. And till this lockdown was there, I completed 37 full marathons. But what I found in Japan was that even people 70 years, 80 years, 90 years take part in some fitness activity. They take care of the body. So that gave me more motivation, and I started running 4 full marathons per year. And during the lockdown period also, instead of being disillusioned that COVID is here, we have to stop or arrest all our activities, I just started jogging inside my apartment and completed 42 kilometers 3 times, just to give the message that if you have a will, there is an inspiring way to achieve it. So that is why I changed. Was only I just thought I should provide inspiration to others. And I'm very proud to tell that wherever I go, be it in the bank or outside, that many of my colleagues, friends come and tell me, "Sir, you inspire me."
Wonderful. No, that is really commendable at the way you've gone about it. Now, what has been the greatest challenge that you faced along your journey in professional things as well as a marathoner? Because it's not a simple thing that you're doing.
No, a banker's life, I think every day is full of challenges. It is like that. And being a marathoner, okay, you know you are accepting a challenge. You are aware that you have to cover 42 kilometers. And that challenge, once you accomplish it, you feel you get a feeling of satisfaction that you have achieved it. As regards the profession, my biggest challenge was when after my Tokyo assignment, I was posted to Garo Hills, Meghalaya, where the law and order was not quite satisfactory, and 2 of my colleagues got kidnapped. Ooh. So one of them was under captivity for almost 18 days. And those 18 days, I had to negotiate with the kidnappers. I have to talk with the parents of the colleague. I have to pacify the colleagues of the region. I had to answer to so many people. And that was the biggest challenge I faced in my career, I tell you. And it's a matter of great happiness that with intense focus, with continuous negotiations, I could get both of them released safe and secure. So that I can't forget those 18 days when a lot of pressure was on me to somehow secure the release of my colleagues.
That's a wonderful thing that you've done, and I highly appreciate. So, which area and what was the real challenge out there? How did they get kidnapped? It's a very nice story. So, how did it?
See, I don't know, in that part of Meghalaya, Garo Hills, during that period, that is 2012 to 15, kidnapping was quite common there. So they were looking to kidnap someone for money, or just they had some issues to be settled, and all they used to do like that. And it was common there, quite common there at that time. And when I got posted there also, I knew that this is going to happen. I had 42 branches to look after. We had 400 employees there in all these 42 branches. It was spread over 5 districts. And it is totally an undeveloped region. Therefore, most of the youths don't have job. Unemployment is very rampant. Poverty is there. So all these could be the causes for this. But then I knew that this is going to happen. Therefore, I had to build a good rapport with the locals there. I built good rapport with the police authorities, with the ministers there, etc. Because I knew that any moment this crisis is going to happen, and I would require the support of all of them. And it is with great satisfaction I tell that when this crisis was there, the entire Garo community, the police, the government functionaries, all were with me. And also the 400 employees of the SBI, all were with me, supporting me, believing in me, that I will secure the release. And I'm very proud to tell that I could achieve it. And that is a big challenge for anyone. Like any person will know that if their colleagues are kidnapped, it is a big challenge. And when I look back, I feel very happy, very satisfied, very proud that I could do it. I didn't run from that sport. That is the thing. I've faced the challenge. I encountered the challenge bravely. That is thing.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's very rare situation, especially from where you're coming. So along the journey, you address all the challenges. So how have you addressed the challenge of being a marathoner, and how has that changed your life?
See, marathon, like everyone will admit, completing 42 kilometers is a big challenge. It is a challenge on your body as well as on your mind. So once you complete that, it gives you the feeling that anything is possible if you are determined. And that is a great lesson which I have learned, that if you are determined, anything is possible. It has made me very, very positive. In marathon running, we don't run to like overtake or defeat another person. It's not that competitive mindset. It is only to complete the 42 kilometers at your own pace. Except for the elite runners who try to run to win the prizes, most of the other marathon runners just want to complete their 42 kilometers strongly and in a better way than they did earlier. So there is no competition with anyone. So I'm not going to compete with the Harsha and reduce my timings, or my competition is not with the Harsha or any other runner. My competition is with myself. Therefore, it takes away all jealousy of the corporate world, corporate rivalry, everything, because our competition is with ourselves only. And also, the positive feelings which you get by running, you carry to your workplace. And that improves your productivity. It improves the way in which you deal with your colleagues. So in all this way, marathon has changed me. It has strengthened my mind that I told you I can face any challenge. In fact, even the kidnapping, like a challenge which I faced also, I could do it bravely because of my mental strength. So I am enjoying my running. I am enjoying my work environment also. So in that way, both are complementing each other. And this is something which I started at the age of 45 and continuing since then. Last 12 years I'm continuing. It is inspiring so many youth. That is itself a great contribution. In the bank itself, a running culture has started. And that is a great contribution to the bank which I have done. Because many youth see that I am completing it. And so they have taken to running, be it 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, etc. And that gives a lot of satisfaction. And that is a great inspiration to me also.
That speaks volumes actually, with the kind of potential that you develop while you're running, and you've been an athlete. Now, India and the world has been crippled with COVID-19. SBI is the largest bank. SBI Foundation is the richest, one of the richest foundations. What has SBI Foundation done in order to address this challenge, especially in the rural parts of India?
It's a COVID crisis has upended the lives of many people and ended the lives of many people also. A black swan event, it disrupted the entire world, economy, our lives, etc. But as a responsible corporate citizen, what SBI did is, SBI employees, along with the bank, contributed 100 crores to the Prime Minister's CARES Fund. Apart from that, our chairman had stated that 0.25% of the year's profit would be set apart for COVID relief activities. At SBI Foundation, we started a COVID relief fund where the pensioners of SBI Ladies Club members all contributed generously to this fund. We started several short-term activities like providing food, providing ration kits, providing PPE kits, medical equipments, etc. to those affected by the COVID in various parts of India. In fact, more than 500,000 meals were distributed. Also, we have procured ventilators and provided to critical hospitals all over India. These are the short-term measures which we had taken. We associated with Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and supported the research activities to fight COVID, with the result that they have come out with a mobile diagnostic van, which can speed up diagnosis. There, we have also supported the research on finding a mechanical ventilator. So that is on the research side. The long term, we have supported a project called ECO project, where we have improved the capability of almost 250,000 healthcare workers all over India on COVID-related activities. We are contemplating of several other long-term projects to address the adversities brought by COVID. And one of the major initiatives which we are going to take is to complement or strengthen the public healthcare infrastructure in a public-private sector implementation model.
So have you done this kind of project earlier, wherein you have had a PPE model?
See, various initiatives which we have done earlier, be it education or education especially, it is with the involvement of the state government only. So unless, I always believe that in matters like education or health, an NGO or foundation should not think about bringing a drastic change themselves. It should always be with the involvement of the government. Because government is the biggest investor. Government is the only agency which can scale up projects. They have the resources, they can scale up. We can only show how efficiently a model can be implemented. Therefore, in models, like wherever we have like gone for education projects, we have involved the government agencies in getting it done. So it's similarly, the health-related initiatives which we are going to take in the days to come will be with the involvement of the government only.
Okay, so we had some questions out for you.
Preksha, just will come to the question Q&A after a few minutes. So we are an institution. So what kind of courses that you foresee that we should be running, and what are the opportunities, especially for the CSR practitioners in the times that we are living?
The CSR sustainability, especially in India, is evolving. In fact, after the Companies Act was amended only, most of the corporates have started doing CSR in a big manner. So the capability at various levels, be it at a foundation or be it at NGOs level, are far from satisfactory in many cases. With the amendment of the Corporate CSR Act, the CSR Companies Act, Many corporates have started their foundations. So this will give opportunity to those who are interested in CSR activity. Also, corporates are also integrating, as CSR is evolving, corporates are integrating CSR into their business strategy. So they require professionals who are good in sustainability or in CSR. Foundations would require people who can design projects. Foundations would require people who are proficient in monitoring projects. Similarly, civil society organizations, NGOs also would require people who are proficient in development activities. So if we see, the entire spectrum requires professionals. And sustainability is going to be a big thing, especially post-COVID, if we are going back to the old normal. Like COVID, we are hastening the adverse impact of climate change. So world over, there is a thought that post-COVID, we should go to a new normal where our activities should be sustainable. It means there is a lot of scope for sustainability and CSR professionals in the days to come. And regarding what kind of courses we should do, I think the entire spectrum of CSR and sustainability is in its stage of infancy in India. Therefore, we require a lot of professionals. We require those who are thorough in conceiving ideas, conceiving projects, conceiving monitoring mechanisms, those who are will be good in impact studies, those who are good in implementing it at a grassroots level, people with good communication abilities, those who can drive the civil society organizations to implement the projects which foundations are having in mind. And also a lot of trainings are required to build up capability in the civil society sector. So there is, as I see, there is a great scope for CSR sustainability related training and also opportunities in this sector.
Thank you, sir. You have, since lockdown, you have been a part of 65 webinars, 40 full marathons. Now, what drives you to exert something like this?
The marathons I completed, as I told, the 37 marathons I completed, like before lockdown was there. And during lockdown also, I always tell that when a crisis faces us, we should not get disillusioned. We should not get disappointed. We should not be pessimistic. Rather, we should accept the reality and respond positively. So in the case of, like, as I told you, marathon running, like everyone, co-runners, many of my friends thought that from now on, we won't be able to run at all. We won't be able to go out and do any fitness activities. But then, okay, government has told we have to practice social distancing. We have to remain at our homes. We have to comply with it as a CSR professional. Because that is the duty as individual we have to do to the society. Therefore, I thought that I'll remain inside my house and show how this can be done, and completed 42 kilometers inside my apartment, which is giving the message that it is possible. And why I did 65 webinars, only because before lockdown was there, I used to travel all over India and give speeches or be part of be a panelist in various CSR discussion forums. And that cannot happen during the lockdown period. So when these webinars came, I thought that this is a good occasion for me to remain active, in the sense it's an opportunity for me to share whatever knowledge I have, and also listen to great co-panelists who have all of you, who are experts in CSR or sustainability sector, and I learned various perspectives from all of them. So in that way, this has been a great learning experience for me, as well as keeping myself active. It persuades me to read a lot. Like today I have come here, I have to at least prepare something. It keeps my brain active. It also, best thing I found is that I'm able to learn from so many people who are experts in this field. And also, many a time, the audience asks questions which are, like I'll tell you, a bolt from the blue. That shakes me. And then I come to know, yes, there is a different perspective to it. That is a great learning experience. So if I don't attend or participate in any webinar, I am closing all these opportunities. And it also gives great visibility to SBI Foundation. It gives visibility to me also. And I enjoy it. As I told you, we should enjoy what we do and do what we enjoy.
Very well said, sir. Very well said. On this note, we would open it for the audiences and all the seasoned CSR practitioners who are present with us today. I'm sure, Dr. Upadhyay, do you have a question?
And Nixon, it's always a pleasure to listen to you. I have been to so many of your webinars, some of them only because of you.
Okay.
And, and I would like to know one thing, like we have been discussing about this pandemic and corporates and NGOs and what social sector should do and all that. At present, what should be our priorities in terms of the programs and how should we go about it?
I feel that this, like most of the foundations, civil society organizations were focusing on various themes like child nutrition, women empowerment, livelihood, arts and culture, environment, etc. for the last several years. Whereas this year, when the pandemic has suddenly sprung a surprise, I find most of the funds going towards COVID and relief activities. And when the Prime Minister Cares Fund has been set up, most of the corporates found an easy way of donating to Prime Minister's Cares Fund. That is also in the short and long term run going to affect fund flow to CSR sector. And COVID is a crisis which we have, like such a crisis, unprecedented crisis. And it is therefore natural that this year, most of the foundations will be routing their funds for COVID-related activities only. And therefore, NGOs also will have to re-strategize in such a way that whatever projects they are having have a COVID connection to it. Otherwise, it won't appeal to the donors. And what should be the immediate attention, I would tell, should be providing food kits, ration kits, all these immediate necessities to those affected. And at the same time, see how some projects can be developed for those who have been displaced, those who have lost their jobs, etc. So in this connection, what I am having in mind is that we should, like the training which our rural self-employment training institutes are giving, where unemployed people are given training in, villagers are given training in various activities like agriculture allied occupations like piggery, poultry farming, dairy farming, and food processing, or mobile repairing, electric, all these trainings are being given free of cost. And then later they are credit linked also. These trainings are short-term duration, And then a credit link also happens, means several micro enterprises can come up in various villages. And this is one way to revive the economy. So if we can use this opportunity to develop the entrepreneurial spirit in the people, that will be the best way to go forward, because as all of us know, a lot of jobs, it's not a scene where a lot of jobs are going to come in government sector or private sector. So we have to go for self-employment. And I feel some short-term trainings like what I have told would be a beginning to reviving the rural economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Palatingal who's raised his hand. Mr. Palatingal, would you please come forward?
It is very nice that Nixon invites retired people also, retired State Bank, into this webinars. And we say, I told him in the morning, we are just in-house employees. We don't just retire and go away, forget about State Bank. We are still receiving pension. We are happy about it. And to be involved in some of the activities that go on, especially these type of CSR activities, to which he can definitely enroll retired people again back, plow back, because 60 is in modern day, 60 is not a big age.
Yes,
when
true.
65, 70, people are healthy, and with this marathon event, we are all enthused to keep healthy more. But one question I want to ask is, on the farm sector, India is an agrarian economy. Farm sector, people are really dejected. Although State Bank is giving out agricultural loans, the pickup over 65 years after independence, 70 years almost, pickup of agriculture, I feel it is typically we are basing ourselves on the monsoon. What is the alternative you find? I've asked this question in Hyderabad Agricultural College. See, we are giving subsidy. State Bank is giving loans. But we don't come to a point where the farmers can be happy with a steady income. I find the situation. Whereas when we go to Israel and other countries, agriculture is scientific. I used to ask the DGM there at Hyderabad, is this subsidy giving, are we waiting for the Russian government to come over and take the entire agriculture of India on lease? I used to pose this question. Are we just giving subsidy? Whose money? Again, it is taxpayers' money. I can understand farmers are getting dejected to the point of suicide. But when is the point I can say they will break even on a steady basis in their lives? This is my always worrisome question in my mind. When will our Indian farmers say, okay, from today onwards, we can have a steady life? Businessmen, of course, we can say ups and downs due to COVID and other things. What do you suggest, Mr. Nixon, to Indian farmers?
I cannot give a answer to this question. It is I agree with you that farm sector is distressed, but then it's a lot of systemic issues are there which have to be addressed if agriculture is to become profitable. And unless all these are addressed, like recently government has told that we can instead of selling it to a PMC, it can be sold to outside that also. So like that, if changes come, and then also like we have to process whatever agricultural commodities we are producing, then a lot of logistics improvement has to come. A lot of systemic changes have to come if agriculture sector has to improve and turn bright. I can only tell that.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Palatingal. We have Preksha over here. She has a question. Make sure you're on mute right now.
Hi, good evening, sir. Myself, Preksha, and I have been associated on various projects. So I wanted to hear that even in the changing norms, how you guys have immediately adopted to fight over COVID and work on the COVID projects. So what is the main thing that you look forward when you're taking a project? Is it an immediate course or it is a regular old course you have been working for a longer period of time? What is the thought process behind selecting the projects? Is it only that you're working on COVID, or is it the only problem? How do you solve the problem? How do you get the problem for getting it solved? What is the main focus for solving the problem?
See, each year the boards of the foundation decide what are the priority areas. So this year we have our board has decided that we should give priority to COVID related activities. So we will be supporting projects which are related to COVID, and other projects we can support only if we have adequate funds. So first priority will be for projects related to COVID. Yes.
So, so, but then there are already a lot of foundations who are seriously working. Even government has made up a special funding system for them, and there are a lot of prospects also. Even there are specialization foundation built up only for COVID prospects. Being an SBI Foundation individually, there are other parts also that you can be focused around. Why is only COVID at the focus area?
It's not COVID alone focus area. What I was telling is that most of the activities this year will be focused towards COVID. At the same time, if there are certain unique projects which is in tune with the goals of the foundation, such projects will be supported. All of us should understand that COVID was something unprecedented. It has affected India like anything. And also, it has overstretched the health infrastructure. It has taken lot of lives. Lot of people have lost their jobs. So naturally, the attention will be to this sector. At least for 1 year, it is quite natural and fair that we address the adversities brought in by COVID.
Thank you for your question, Preksha. Thank you, Mr. Nixon. We have a question from Shivangini. Shivangini? Dr. Hopkins? We can't see you. I saw that you have a question. Am I audible?
Hello.
Yes, Shivangini. Yes, you
Yes,
had a...
ma'am. I'm sorry. I had some network issue.
Okay.
I was able to hear you. Sir, my question is like colleges and corporates, everyone is nowadays interested in CSR.
Yes.
But the placements in CSR by the colleges are not so much, like they are not so much interested in all those things. You cannot see so much placement opportunities there. So what do you think about these things in the colleges and for the students who are interested in CSR and how they can have their placement in the future in CSR?
As far as I understand, foundations are taking candidates for various positions in the foundations or CSR activities. So that is happening. Maybe as you told, like they are not coming to colleges and universities as a placement activity. They are recruiting people, and like if you consider SBI Foundation also, we are taking those youths who we find suitable for the positions, but then it's not by way of visiting colleges or universities, but by advertisement and calling for applications. So placement is happening. There are opportunities in CSR sector, and capable and suitable youths are getting placed also.
Thank you for your question, Shivangini. We have Dr. Michael Hopkins with us today. Dr. Hopkins, welcome. I believe you have a question, sir.
Yeah, hello.
No.
Thank you very much. Apologies to miss the beginning of Joseph Nixon's talk. We had some internet problems here today. Apologies for that. But I listened to some of your responses, and I can see you're a very, very lively guy. So very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you.
As you were talking about CSR projects and the rest of it. One thing that we've been focusing on here, and I'm in Africa right now, is getting away from the standard development type projects, which you mentioned, training and so on, which of course are useful, is that we've been emphasizing, and you've heard about this, I know, in India, the issue of basic income, which we would target to the poor people, especially as income distribution is bad these days. And also, if you have skills, it's very difficult to get a job. What is your feeling about basic income? How could it be paid? We have that issue here, of course. Who's going to pay for it? To a certain extent, we can do that by increasing the money supply, printing money, which is pretty anti-Milton Friedman, as I'm sure you would agree. So my question is, what are your thoughts about basic income? Can India afford it?
So India, it's having a huge population. Providing basic income to everyone may be a challenge. But then for the really marginalized, vulnerable segments, it can be provided, and it has to be provided so that they can at least begin a living. So in the long term, as I told you, we have to find self-employment opportunities for them. Basic income will not be a sustainable issue, like a sustainable activity for India, because it is a huge population and it cannot, it won't be able to raise so much funds to fund these activities. So for a short term, maybe basic income would be a good option, especially because due to COVID and all, a lot of people have been displaced and are suffering a lot. But then in the long term, we have to find opportunities for them only so that they can generate income.
No, I agree with you, but I'm not so sure it's a matter of size, because even a small country, of course, if you've got a population of 50 million, then you've got 1/20th the economy of India. The issues, I think you quite rightly say, and people worried about this, is that if one transfers income to vulnerable groups, will that stop them entering into the labor market? And I think that's an issue. The studies that have been carried out, including pilot studies in India, show this is not necessarily true, that people actually do use income wisely in general. Not everybody wastes it, which is, of course, the old chestnut of the rather conservative majority you get in some countries. What we're struggling with here is pretty similar to you, is how to finance it. We have about 1/5 the population in the country I'm in right now in urban slums. And they're really suffering right now because access to employment not there. They're getting hungry. They can't get any income whatsoever. We can transfer money using excuse the noise behind me, using the mobile phone network. But you're right in terms of where's the money come from. And I think, though, that countries with low inflation can afford to print a certain amount of money to cover that sum. I'm not recommending that as a continual solution, because printing money does, over the time, if we believe Milton Friedman and also some experience, does lead to inflation and then other problems. So it has to be handled very carefully. I just wondered if you or perhaps any other economist around the table have got any ideas on that. And so maybe Michael Hopkins, who spends too much time thinking about social issues and not enough about costing and finance, that perhaps he should think more about those issues. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Dr. Hopkins. Mr. Nixon, is there something you'd like to comment?
This is something, a policy decision which the government has to take, whether to print the notes or not, to support such kind of financial support to people. But then since it has got various repercussions, there is a hesitancy from all sides, because if the fiscal deficit widens and all, it will create a lot of issues like inflation, all these things. So that could be the reason why fiscal policy is not very much in favor of providing basic income to everyone. But I still feel that those who are really marginalized or vulnerable should get some cash flow during this crisis period, and which I think the government is doing by providing free food and ration and all to the migrants, as well as also providing some amount to the farmers and to the marginalized. The government is supporting them, though it is not like a universal basic income. I find such kind of initiatives are happening.
I'm not actually advocating like you, and I agree with you, a universal basic income where everybody gets a basic income. And I know that's a story going around, especially by my good friend who's in another building right now, a guy called Guy Standing, who's been pushing that. And he and I have long discussions on that particular issue. I agree it should be targeted. But one thing you said, and I've been, it's a bit hard actually to say don't distribute food, because people are starving. They will grab will access to anything is helpful. But of course, distributing food is actually quite a cumbersome process. And not only that, a lot of people have other issues other than food. And also, if one distributes money, then people, of course, can buy goods, and they can buy goods from local farmers and all sorts of other issues, textiles from shops and the rest of it. So it actually does create effective demand, to use a Keynesian expression. But also, studies have shown that the multiplier effect of cash for very poor people can be as high as 2 and even 3 times as much. So in fact, you can double or treble the economic growth rate in these societies. So in fact, distributing a basic income is not actually a waste, but actually can lead to dynamism in the economy. But I also agree with you is that should that go on for forever? We're still discussing that and thinking about that. And certainly right now, and I think this a pandemic is going to go on for another 6 months, possibly even another year, which is some of the news reports that we're getting. So this is pretty tough for people. And I'm sure that even people around this table know people who are suffering right now, as in fact I do. And I support quite a lot of families actually with cash around the society. So anyway, thank you for your thoughts on this and your considerations. And also thank you. I've seen your website, and thank you very much for the work that you're doing, which is actually great work and a great help to your colleagues and people in India. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
We have one last question from Mr. Ramesh. Mr. Ramesh, would you like to come forward?
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you, Joseph, sir. I have met you in video some time back. I am the retired AGM of State Bank of India. So instead of a question, I have something to say regarding the pensioners. You said pensioners have contributed for the PM's COVID fund also. Everybody raises to the occasion. Mr. Ephraim Palathingal just suggested that, being pensioners, we still want to do something, this, that, and all. So probably, being a dynamic person heading this SBI Foundation, I have been observing you. You have been going around, meeting so many people, addressing so many seminars. Even a college invites you, you are just addressing. So it really motivates so many people. At the helm of SBI Youth Foundation, a small plan can be made wherein the pensioners can be involved in some kind of projects. Most of our, fortunately, most of the SBI pensioners living in and around, they are quite healthy. They want to do something they want to do the community. They want direction. So I will just take 1 minute wherein I have already shared with you that we have started an orphanage where about 4 to 5 DGMs are involved. 5 DGMs and 90% of the people involved in our NGO, which is an orphanage, Sampattu, are all SBI pensioners. We are very proud to say about it. So similarly, probably some kind of circular by SBI Foundation or some kind of thing where pensioners want to come forward, we are also ready to assist you. We also want to direct you. We are there to cooperate with you. Something like that, if foundation can come, probably more of these things can come up in various places. This is what I just thought came to my mind during these discussions.
Okay, Ramesh ji.
Yes, sir.
See, in the long run, all of us are pensioners. So
yes, sir.
I have decided that I've given a serious thought to it. And this year onwards, we are like, it's almost in the final stages. We are going to involve pensioners in volunteering activities as well as CSR activities. We are devising various activities where we can involve the pensioners. So first of the initiative was a webinar involving pensioners, which we did 2 or 3 days back. But further activities where we can involve the skill, rich experience of the pensioners in improving our CSR activities is in our thoughts, and it is in the final stages. Okay.
Oh, so nice of you, sir. Very nice of you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Right.
Sir, any message to all of us right now?
All those who are like in CSR or development sector should have a real passion for bringing change. Otherwise, if we see that this is only another employment, another routine job for us, then we won't be able to make the change which we want. So all of us in the CSR sector, all those who are in the development sector, we should consider it as a great opportunity, blessing given to us to bring change and do whatever is possible with passion. That's all what I have to tell. I think Harsha is missing, I think.
May I jump in? That Harsha seems to be unusually missing. So I'm sure she'll come back. She did ask me to announce the course that she and myself are giving in a few weeks' time. We're giving a 4-day course on CSR, to which you're all welcome. It's going to focus on exactly the issues that Joseph mentions. What's new? What's dynamic about CSR? What's encompassing? How can it help? What does the future look like? And to me, as you probably know, I see CSR as a systems approach to running a company or even a public institution. And we'll discuss that during the time of this seminar, which starts towards the end of this month. I'm now talking on behalf of Harsha because she's still not with us, and I can see some people still with us today. So nice to meet you all. I hope you're all coping pretty well with what's going on outside you, and I know you're all wearing social distancing and so on. And it's pretty hard to do that. I know, and I see right across the world. It's incredibly worrying. This virus is very, very infectious and very, very dangerous. And I'm sad to say that it's here with us for a bit longer. And I just hope everybody is taking necessary precautions with themselves and their families as well. So I think Harsh is not here. Since I wasn't here to open it, this talk today, I don't think I can close it. So what I'm going to do is that I know that Dr. KK, my good friend, is there. So Dr. Upadhyay, perhaps you could kindly just summarize key issues and close the session for today on behalf of Harsha, who seems to have an internet issue somewhere. Would you mind? Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Michael. Nixon, it has been very nice to have you with us. Generally, what Harsha does, he requests everybody to switch on their video so as we can have a picture. Can we do that? Can everybody open? Can you open your video, please? Shivangini, Sudha, Rukaya. Harsha is also, I can see Harsha also. She's coming now. Shivangini, your video, please. Anyway, I think it's very good. Mr. Nixon, it was very nice to have you with us. And it's always a pleasure to listen to you. I have listened to some webinars I've gone only because you were there. So it's always pleasure to listen to you, and we all are very thankful to you. And it will be a pleasure to have you again with us. Rukaya and Harsha, you are two left now. Harsha?
Actually, Harsha ma'am is having network issues in her area.
Troubles with my internet. I can't do much about that. But I'd like to thank Mr. Nixon for being there. And maybe we can take a last picture, or have we already taken and I'm the last person to join.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you,
Ma'am,
Nixon
can you
sir,
please
for
turn on your
inviting me.
camera for the picture?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you. I think, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.